Hi, this is Sherri Morrissey, and the exercise is the back squat. So I'm just going to bring the bar up safely here, and I'm going to rest it on my shoulders nice and comfortably below my C7 there. My grip is a little wide here, and feet are shoulder width apart, actually a little bit better than shoulder width apart. Toes are pointed out just slightly. Now what I'm going to do is, in the concentric phase, I'm going to flex the knees and flex my hips and sit back in a chair. So here we go, keeping the back nice and straight and the head up and the neck neutral. So we're going to sit back in a chair and eccentric phase, just stand back up. I'm going to sit back in a chair again. I want to make sure that my knees are staying on top of my toes and that I'm pushing through the heels. Now, range of motion is dependent on whether or not you can get your femur parallel to the ground, or you want to come back up if your heels lift off the ground, or if you lose or compromise your back or your back rounds. Okay, now what I'm going to do, not very heavy. Okay, so let's, okay, so come on underneath the bar, bend at the knees, lift it up, perfect, over top. Excellent, okay, so cueing. So I want to spot from behind, and we want to do this so that I can help with the weight if necessary. I come in right behind and I have my hands underneath the bar, so if the bar slips, I can pick the bar up. And that's what I want to spot, is just to help a little bit with the weight. We don't have heavy weights today, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to cue you through the exercise and I'll come in behind. So you want your feet shoulder width apart, toes pointed out slightly. Just check your grip. Grip looks pretty good. Is that a comfortable spot for the bar? Yeah. Okay, so now what I want you to do is squat down, so bend your hips, your knees, like you're sitting in a chair. Nice, keep it back nice and straight. And again, excellent. Try not to hyperextend those knees on the way up, pushing through the heels. There, now I can come with you. He's a little tall. Now let's do another one. Excellent. Now bring that bar overhead and bend the knees to put it down. Excellent. Great job. Okay, now I'm going to work on a forward step lunge with a bicep curl at the same time. So with your forward step lunge, you want your feet shoulder width apart, and your torso is nice and erect. It stays nice and high. Dumbbells are down by your side. You're going to take an exaggerated step forward on a vertical plane. So exaggerated step forward. At this point, you're going to lunge down or flex down, staying on the heel of your foot and keeping nice and balanced. And we're going to flex the elbows and do a bicep curl at the same time. So here we go. And then back up, and we do that again. Keeping the torso nice and erect, finding your balance there. Bicep curl. Back, stay nice and controlled. Excellent. I'm just going to put these weights down. Now, as I spot for this exercise, I'm going to be behind my volunteer, and I'm going to mimic the same motion as them. So basically, as a spotter, we don't have a lot of weight to worry about, but we do have balance to worry about. So I want to make sure that they're staying on that vertical line, and we want to watch what the trailing leg does as well. Okay, so I'm going to cue you on this exercise. So you're going to have your feet shoulder width apart, weights are down by your side. What you're going to do is take an exaggerated step forward, not quite yet though, keeping your torso nice and tall. And you're going to, concentric phase is this exaggerated step forward, lunging down, curling at the same time, eccentric phase coming back up and standing erect. Okay, and I'm just going to come behind you for some balance. And here we go, exaggerated step. Let's do 4. Good job. Nice, keeping the back nice and tall. Good job. Excellent. Okay. 2 more. And slow down a little bit with those weights in the bicep curl. So nice and controlled and slow. And back up. Good. That's great. Okay, I'm going to do this stiff leg deadlift. So with this exercise, Your dominant hand is going to have a pronated position, and your non-dominant hand is going to have a supinated position. So you're going to be in this position here with the bar. Your feet are a little better than shoulder width apart. And you want to have flexed knees, just slightly flexed knees. And your knees are going to stay like this through the entire range of motion here. So let me just pick up my bar. Back. Here we go. So slightly flexed knees. Bars just away from the body. So the concentric phase, I'm going to flex my hips forward, keeping my knees in this slightly flexed position the whole time. I'm going to bend down with the bar towards the ground, and I am going to come back up with my range of motion into the eccentric phase when either the bar touches or the weights touch the ground, which they're not going to, my back is compromised, or my knees are fully extended, or my heels come up off the ground. Okay, so here we go. Slightly flexed knee, back is going to stay nice and flat. And I'm going to drop my head just slightly. I'm not going to compromise my neck either, so the head stays nice and neutral. There we go. Engage that core. So concentric phase, eccentric phase. You can tell I have a little bit of limited range of motion here, but I'm still feeling it. And put the weights down. Okay, not really an absolute need for a spotter per se, but I will be spotting the exercise by watching for any kind of compromising positions, or making sure that the back stays nice and flat and that the knees stay slightly flexed. Okay, so I want to cue this exercise. So right now his dominant hand is pronated, his other hand is supinated, feet are shoulder width apart. Okay, now what I want you to do is flex the knees, and your knees are going to stay in this position the entire exercise. Okay, so concentric phase. Let's flex the hips, so bend at the hips, bringing the weights towards the ground, keeping the knees in that same position, and come back up. That's eccentric. And let's do that again. Let's watch the back, and let's watch the neck. Neck stays neutral. Okay, so neck can come down a little bit this time. There we go. That's a nice lift. And again, concentric phase here, eccentric there. You can slow down a little. One more time. Nice range of motion. Excellent. Good job. Okay, I'm going to talk about a pull-up now. And with my pull-up, I use a little bit of assistance here with my band. So pull-up, you want your palms to face away from your face. That's the grip you're going to use. And in the starting position, your elbows are fully flexed. Your shoulders are, they somewhat extended, of course, but they're actually also abducted. And then the girdle is elevated, upward rotated, and abducted as well. So the concentric phase, you're going to bring your body up, and you're going to bring your chin above the bar. You want to make sure that your torso stays nice and long, and that your core is engaged the entire time, and that you're not losing your position with your neck either. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just going to let my feet hang slightly, so that I'm in a full position here. And now I'm going to lift myself up over the bar, hold on slightly. One more time. Okay, now for spotting this exercise, I am going to be helping the client with any assistance that they may need, making sure that the grip is in the right position, that the elbows are fully extended, and that the body is in a slight hanging position so you can get the full range of motion necessary. Bringing yourself up, bringing the chin above the bar in a controlled fashion, trying to hold just slightly, coming back down in a controlled fashion. Okay, so now we're moving on to the cueing and spotting. So I'm going to cue my volunteer to do a pull-up. My volunteer is also going to use a little bit of assistance here, and he's actually also going to use a little bit of a jump to help him get his chin above the bar. So his palms are facing away from his face, He's going to drop down so that his arms are extended. Excellent. And here we go. Little help, little hop up. Good. Nice and controlled. And again, pull and hold and down. Can you do one more? And pull and hold and come down. Excellent. Good job. Okay, I'm going to do a push-up to T rotation right now. So to explain this exercise, with a push-up, you've got two phases, the pushing phase and the lowering phase. So the pushing phase is your concentric phase and the lowering phase is the eccentric phase. So what you want to do is start in a prone position and move into a bit of a plank. You're going to keep your palms flat on the ground. Your wrists are going to be below your shoulders or in line with your shoulders. Your feet are going to be spread just a little bit apart and on your toes. When you go into the, when you're in the lowering phase and you move into the concentric phase, at that point you're going to lift up with one arm and rotate to an open side body hold position. Okay. Okay, so my wrists are roughly shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit better. I want to make sure that my wrists are underneath my shoulders when I push up in the concentric phase. And here we go. So we're going to push up into the concentric phase, open up into a side body hold. Make sure that your shoulder and your wrist are in line. Come back. Now this is the eccentric phase. Here we go. Nice and slow and controlled. Keep your back nice and strong. Engage your core. Okay, so for spotting, again, the spotting consists more of visual, watching your client, making sure they're holding their core, making sure their back doesn't sag or arch. Also, making sure that their wrists are below their shoulders and they're not forgetting to breathe. So, come on over. I'll get you to lay on the ground. We're going to have your feet about shoulder width apart, perfect. And yes, your wrists are going to be a little bit better than shoulder width apart. Make sure that your wrists are going to be in line with your shoulder. Okay, so come on up to a plank position, all the way up into the, okay. Now, lift this arm up and rotate onto one side. Excellent, good. Yeah, your shoulder and your wrists are in line there. Excellent. Okay, so come back. Now move into the push-up, the lowering phase, and up. Excellent. And again, nice and controlled, lowering phase. Don't forget to breathe. Excellent. Lowering phase. Perfect. This exercise is an isolated reverse crunch with a twist. I wanted to get some rotation in with my exercises, so that's where this comes in. So we're going to find ourselves into a isolated crunch position. So we're going to move into a crunch. We're going to be in a reverse crunch position that we're going to then hold, so that's the isolated part. And then we're going to take a weight and we're going to rotate from side to side. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so into my reverse crunch position, this is the position I'm going to hold. This is the isolated position here. And then I want to rotate and twist, bringing the weight close to all the way down to the ground. This is going to isolate our obliques here. Nice and slow and controlled when you're rotating with the spine. Here we go. Make sure you're breathing out and in here. Breathing out and in. So this is more of the power phase and relaxing here, even though it's not completely relaxing. Keeping the spine neutral and the neck neutral and the core tight. Now to find that reverse crunch position, you want your feet flat on the ground and you're going to come back until your feet are raising off the ground or your heels are raising off the ground. So you want to make sure they're always on the ground. That's your reverse crunch position that you're going to hold. Okay, so for spotting, I'm going to be looking for all those cues. I'm going to make sure that the spine is nice and controlled, the movement's nice and controlled, the neck is neutral, spine is neutral, and the heels are not pulling off the ground. Okay. Okay, so let's find the reverse crunch position. So feet are flat on the ground, keeping the heels on the ground. And you're going to lean back until you find that spot where your heels are going to lift. You're good there. Okay, neck is up a little bit, so your neck is neutral, back is flat. I'm going to hand you the weight. And very slow and controlled, I want you to touch the weight towards the ground. Find a space out on the ground to look at, so you're not looking at the weight. That'll keep your neck in neutral position. Better, good job. Don't forget to breathe. So breathe out. Breathe out there. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Let's do one more to this side. Good job. And your knees or your feet are starting to lift a little bit, so we are done the exercise. Good job. Okay, I'm going to do prone extensions, which is for some nice trunk extension. Some people call this Superman. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie prone on the ground. We're going to have our shoulders fully flexed, our knees fully extended. Knees must stay fully extended throughout the exercise. And we are going to extend our hips back at the same time as flexing our shoulders and holding that pose just for a moment and releasing and coming back down. So the concentric phase is when the knees stay in full extension, the hips are extended, and the shoulders are flexed. Okay, let's get into position here. So bringing shoulders into flexed position, relaxed here, and we're going to keep our knees extended the entire time and extend the hips, flex the shoulders, hold, and then back down. So this is our concentric phase and our eccentric phase. Breathing out, breathing in. So when I spot this exercise, I want to make sure that the elbows are staying extended and the knees are staying extended, and that we are extending the hips up and off the ground and the shoulders as well. So come on over, find a prone position, so lay on your tummy. Excellent. Bring your arms overhead, relax your neck. Excellent. Knees are going to stay fully extended the entire time. And here we go. So extend the hips and the shoulders at the same time. Nice. And back down. And relax there. Okay. And up again. Nice. And back down. Now let's not forget to breathe. Breathe out. And breathe in. And again. Neck is staying nice and neutral. Knees are staying extended the whole time. And we're working our trunk here. Excellent. Good job. Okay, so I'm going to do the barbell pullover. I just want to talk about it for a minute. So what I'm going to do is get myself positioned on the bench. And you want a nice 5-point body contact position here. You're going to stay this way the whole time. And you do actually need a spotter for this exercise. I'm going to make sure that my back is nice and flat and that I'm engaging my core here. So the starting position, what I'm going to do, I don't need the bar yet. Starting position, my elbows are slightly flexed. I want my imaginary bar over top of my chest here. Now my elbows are going to stay in this position the whole time. My wrists are going to stay nice and tight, nice and strong. My grip is a pronated grip on the bar. This movement is all about the shoulders. So we're going to flex the shoulders as we come down in an arch. And once the shoulders are fully flexed position, we're going to come back up and extend the shoulders. The elbows stay fixed in this position. There should be very little movement in the elbows, and all the movement comes from the shoulders. And we want to ensure that the weight's not too heavy so that my rib cage isn't arching and that my back is staying nice and flat. Okay, so let's try to add some weights to this. Excellent. Thank you. Now really make sure you engage your core here. Okay, that feels pretty good, and here I'm going to come down. So this is the lowering phase, or the eccentric phase, and up into the concentric phase. Back down into the lowering phase, trying not to change the angle of my elbow, keeping my wrist nice and straight, and just using my shoulders for movement. So flexing and extending. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's try to cue this with someone else. So bring your head as close to the end as you can here. Excellent. So your feet should be touching the ground. Excellent. Your hips, your shoulders, your back. Good. Try to engage your core and keep your back flat on the ground. So we're going to start in this position here, pronated grip. I'm going to hand you the weights. Are you ready for the weights? Okay. Okay, so you're going to keep this angle here fixed. What you're going to do is you're going to move the bar in an arch past your head until your shoulders are in a fully flexed position, and then you're going to come up and extend. Nice. There. Good job. Keep that core nice and tight. So actually keep your elbows flexed. You're not going to come up into a fully extended elbow. Just extend the shoulder, or flex the shoulders here. Concentric phase. Extend the shoulders, and note your elbow needs to stay a little bit bent. Fix your elbow there. Excellent. Last one here. And there. Take the weights. Good job. Good. Okay, I'm going to do a seated dumbbell shoulder press. And we don't have a proper back on the bench, so we won't be using that. Now, in order to get my legs parallel to the ground, I need to sit back on my bench a little bit here. So with the shoulder press, you want to have a nice erect back. Pull that core in. Make sure your ribs aren't heaving at all. And your starting position, you want your bars, or your hands, where your hands are, to be at the base of the neck, just above the shoulders. You don't want the weights resting on the shoulders, but you want them in this position, roughly this position here. I don't have a mirror, so I'm hoping that I'm nice and level. Does that look fairly level there? Okay, good. And from this position, you're going to move into a position where your elbows are fully extended and back down, nice and slow and controlled. Engaging that core, pushing straight up. Everything should be in a nice vertical line here. So this is the concentric phase here, and the lowering phase, or the eccentric phase, is here. Nice and controlled. And back down to the starting position. Okay, so you do need a spotter for this exercise. And as a spotter, you're going to be obviously watching for all the cues and making sure the alignment is correct, but also watching the weights. Sometimes in this position, if the weights are quite heavy, they need a little help up. So I'm going to be standing behind my volunteer and spotting him that way. Okay, so come find yourself a spot on the bench. So let's make sure that your legs are parallel. I think that looks pretty good there. Feel comfortable there? I'm going to hand you the dumbbells and just hold them on your legs, rest them on your thighs. Excellent. So I'm going to come in behind you here. And let's bring your weights up to starting position. Excellent. So the bars should be at the base of the neck, not resting on the shoulder, but fairly low. Elbows here. Excellent. Back is straight. You look really good. Okay, so I'm going to stay behind you here. And let's move with the concentric phase. Up, fully extended elbow, or fully extended elbows. Good. And back down. And again, you can bring your arms in slightly. Excellent. And back down. And breathe out here. And breathe in here. Feet are nice and flat on the ground. Excellent. And slow that movement down. And in. Down. Excellent. And bring the weights down to your thighs again. Perfect. Good job.